Kyle Shanahan's ground game success. All right. So there's this rumor going around that I may be a little too critical on Kyle Shanahan. I don't know where people are getting this from, but, it's in the air. So, look, I felt as though that I need to be more balanced on critiquing Kyle if I am going to critique him, right? And as a fan, not as a professional, all right? He is still a great coach, all right? But he's not beyond reproach, right? So this is what we will do. What I'm going to start vowing to do is I feel like because Kyle does so many things well, we don't highlight what he does well because all we are doing is fixated on the 10th of the percent, like the small things, the things that completely define him. But we don't even realize that the basis on which we can even criticize him is founded upon who he is as a great coach. Right? We don't even have an argument if he's not a great coach. And I feel like a lot of people don't say that about Kyle, where, hey, my man, the only reason why you can bring these up is because that's all there's left. That's it. Yeah, this is the menu. All right.
The rest of the menu is off the menu.
Come on, man.
It's stuff that he does exceptionally well.
Bespoke to him, right?
Yeah. As an offensive coordinator, he's one of the top minds of the game. There's no question of that. As a coach, he's one of the best coaches in the league. He made mistakes. He's done things wrong. The overtime call in the Super Bowl, not throwing a flag in Philly, and the rest of it, for me, is about Kyle, the GM. Kyle, the coach and offensive coordinator, there's not a lot to criticize. And in this game, you got to give him a ton of credit.
You got to give him credit.
You had a team that hadn't played on offense since the Super Bowl, and they only have a week to prepare. And they have one series where they go 3 and out, and then they score in the next 8. Give the man his flowers. That's some phenomenal coaching.
Yeah. And he had to wake up.
He had him ready.
He had him ready.
And he out-coached Saleh badly.
Oh, my God. Robert, man, he just looks like a broken guy on the sidelines. Doesn't he just look bewildered? Like... Yeah. I don't know. He just looks like a random guy standing at the DMV. He's just, it's like, and it's so crazy because seeing him purposely try to be stoic after seeing exactly like how exuberant and how much of an extrovert he was, it almost looks weird to see him try to be like a coach, right? Like, Doc, like this is really weird. But getting back to Kyle, Let's deal with this comment because I feel like this was the turning point for me. I was on my Kyle bag, like my same old dogging Kyle because he's not doing what he's supposed to do. Like I was really in my bag the first couple of drives in this game, and what sent me to the moon was that goddamn reverse.
That was a terrible call.
My Lord. Like,
period.
Notwithstanding the play actions early in the game when we had less than 30 yards running in the game, we're not going to go there. It's just like Kyle just be in there just pressing buttons and pushing levers, bro. Like, how are they going to respect play action, bro, if we haven't ran the ball yet, Kyle? And they don't know who Jordan Mason is.
So they're not going to respond to play action with Mason anyway because he's not Christian McCaffrey. So that's part of it too. But give Kyle credit that after that, they had the turnover and didn't go far, and then they kicked the field goal. But after that, they had 7 legitimate drives.
And that's my point. My main point is that I feel like what we saw before or during that reverse was more of Kyle leaning into what he had for Debo versus what he could fashion, what Debo could do in the absence of Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it was the Debo show. And really, that's how I signify basically the first maybe 25 plays of that game. It was the Debo show. He got more. At one point, the ball was only thrown 8 times, and Debo had 4. I mean, the ball at one point, the ball was thrown 12 times, and Debo had 8 targets. I mean, Kyle force feeds this man the ball at all times. And I do not get it. Why he tries so hard to highlight Deebo Samuel in slants and comebacks and screens and now routes. And it's like, bro, like and then he'll throw in like the average, like the occasional fade. It's just like, bro, I am so over that shit. When you got an offensive line that you need to get in shape, you got a quarterback who needs to process the entire field and get himself in the rhythm, all right? And then you got a defense that is almost sitting back waiting for you to roll out the same carbon copy ethos of what you've been doing. And I feel like Jordan Mason kind of settled Kyle down, right? You were starting to see less empty. You were starting to see more running game in the third down. He got a little cute in the red zone, but for the most part, once Jordan started showing more confidence in the game, Kyle started pressing that button more, and then he got creative, and this is why I really want to give Kyle his flowers and really be fair to him, is that it's hard to say, do something better, do something different, be creative when you know your team as well as he does. And he's saying to himself, all right, bro, like I get this, but I cannot run crack toss to the right side without George. I can't. We rep this. Oh, you have not seen this 35,000 times the way I've seen it. You have not looked at the intricacies of where we run it on the far hash, where we run it on the near hash, where we run it when we're fresh, when we run it when we're tired, when we run it on second, third, and fourth. I mean, people don't understand just how maniacal Kyle will get. Exactly looking at plays, understanding the minutia of what they produce during certain parts and situations of the game, and being able to give him that type of balance, and knowing how tightly wound he is with this type of stuff, right? To kind of see him let the game flow on opening night, it was a joy to see. I was such a fan of it
because he finally let go. And he said, okay, what's working? And react to that, as opposed to in the game plan, what did I think would work?
Yeah.
And so with Deebo, I think that this was a special case in that Aiyuk didn't play and McCaffrey didn't play in terms of preseason. So he only had Deebo. And I think that was part of this, is that he trusted Deebo because Deebo was there for all of camp. And Garendo was hurt. He wasn't 100%. Cowing's a rookie. He didn't play him. And so you're kind of forced into a lot of Deebo. We need to run Deebo because we're not going to give the ball to Patrick Taylor, are we? And
no.
So Kyle didn't. And therefore, I think there was an overuse of Deebo because he was the only guy in the preseason. And that's something that Kyle values, is who was there working on these plays in camp. It was Deebo. Yeah. And I think that's why he called Deebo's number so often, because he trusted Deebo over the alternatives. He didn't have Garendo. Garendo came in really late, but we knew that he wasn't fully healthy for this game.
Yeah.
Hopefully he will be in Minnesota, and I hope that he'll then see more opportunity. Same thing with Cowing. I think both of those guys need to get more. And the offense improved once Kyle started to trust more of what was going on. When he spread the ball around, when he got the ball to Jennings and got the ball to Kittle and started to use Mason just in pure sledgehammer mode, the offense was rolling. And I think that he can now react to that going forward and saying, okay, now I know what works with this personnel. And now I can add the other guys as spices going forward. So I think that part of the overuse of Deebo was just, in Kyle's mind, he didn't have a good alternative. And hopefully those alternatives start showing up in Minnesota and against the Rams in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I definitely agree. It was good to see Kyle just, there's a difference in being scripted and always, having a plan and, being wound tight. But there's a quality, like a humanistic quality, to know that somebody is actually giving it to you in the now, right? Like this guy, this is not rehearsed. Like this guy is like showing us his raw talent, right? Like I can tell that this isn't coming from anywhere. It felt really good to be able to see him adapt and read the room and understand, okay, we got the hot hand right now. Jordan's moving. Offensive line is feeling it. Trent needs to get in shape anyway. We'll get Brock in there. We'll sandwich Brock in there some around play action, but we'll wait for it. We'll use it when we need to. It felt really good for him to just be simple. It didn't have to be as complicated as it always looks all the time.
Don't overthink it. Just go with what works. This is how we win tonight. Play it. And he did. And give Kyle a lot of credit for that. Folks in the chat talking about Patrick Taylor, I think that he can play. It's just that Kyle is more reticent to play a guy that's late to the game in terms of getting reps and knowing the system. Taylor is new, and that hopefully over the course of the next week of practice, that he'll start to have more faith in him and it'll give him some opportunity. I think that they do need to balance it out, and we'll see. Hopefully Garendo will be 100% for Minnesota, and he'll get some opportunity then. But I also think that they should mix in Patrick Taylor and just see what they got. And that they're going to need to sprinkle it around and show more balance and giving more carries to everybody. Just evaluate who you have, and then you can get a better idea of how to go forward.